Friend, if someone would have told me this sooner, I probably wouldn't have spent the last almost 6 years going through all these tests. I don't think we talk about the difference between healing in your 30s versus healing in your 20s enough. Like, healing in my 20s looked like addition, adding friends, adding titles, adding accolades, just a whole bunch of newness. But in my 30s, what I'm realizing is that healing looks like subtraction. It looks like taking away things that don't align anymore. It looks like outgrowing people, outgrowing places, and just not doing things that don't fit or feel good. At least for me. See, what I'm recognizing about my 30s is that my ultimate goal is peace. I know what peace is, and I strive for just that. And the things that don't align with my peace, I honestly don't deal with it anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's taken me 30 something years to get here, but what I can acknowledge now that I didn't know in my 20s is that I thought peace was things that made me happy, things that made me feel joy. And in this decade of my life, what I recognize is that peace feels safe. Peace feels grounded and secure. Peace feels like a consistent thread of being. Peace feels good to me. And when things are not bringing me peace, I can point them out so clearly. In my 20s, my healing was all about having self-awareness, growing my self-awareness, realizing, what I wasn't seeing, realizing what I was ignoring, realizing the red flags that kept popping up even when I wasn't paying attention. In my 30s, it's all about discernment. It is about recognizing and not hesitating to stop doing things that don't fit. Being open-minded enough to pause when I'm confused. In my 30s, healing looks like having discernment over people, places, and things. See, I believe that society has the game all twisted, right? When we get to our 30s, from my experience, there's this timeline trap that people try to get you with, where they tell you that it's too late for things, or like there's some timeline that you are competing against that you have to live up to. And I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. I'm in my mid-30s. I have no kids. I have no plans in the near future to have kids. And when people hear things like that, they get really, really confused. I've also experienced this timeline trap when it came to my job, when it came to school. Any of the decisions that I've made that go against the norm in society, I feel like people bring up the timeline trap. And there is no definite time to settle down, to have children, to go back to school, to move across the country. You have to create your own timeline. That's what I'm learning in my 30s. Create my own timeline. Because I'm not living my life according to what other people have done or haven't been able to do. I'm living my life based on what feels good to me and what resonates with me and what is aligned with my mission and my purpose. So if you find yourself concerned about some made up, mythical, societal standard of a timeline, please don't fall into it. Don't settle because you think that there's this expectation of an age or a range of time that you need to compete with. Another thing is that there's this high cost of peace when it comes to the societal timeline. You will sacrifice what feels good for you. You will sacrifice what brings you true peace if you try to go against the time running out trap. The 30s, you realize that energy is an infinite resource. And what you do is you stop spending it with people in places doing things that just don't align with you anymore. Like going to work somewhere that I don't want to work is insane to me at this age. In my 20s, I would accept any job. I just wanted money. But in my 30s, I recognize that my energy is the greatest commodity. And if I just give it to places, if I just show up for people who don't reciprocate, if I just pour into everything, I'm gonna be depleted and I'm not even gonna be old. I'm just gonna be young and tired. And I've been young and tired before. I know how this works out. It doesn't. I wanna remind you to I'm reminding myself that there is a high cost of peace if I work within this societal standard, this timeline trap, this by this age type of rhetoric. Be mindful about that. I'm mindful about that. And my 30s is about subtracting. It's about curating a life that feels and resonates with the woman that I've become. Whereas in my 20s, I was just living, y'all. I was out here going crazy. I was living in New York. I was living in New Jersey for a second. I was in Florida. I was in LA. I was in Atlanta. I was really on another level. And it was a grand, grand time. But when I look back, there's so many instances of me doing things that really felt like the aesthetic growth. It wasn't the ugly growth. And in my 30s, I'm dealing with the ugly growth. For example, the aesthetic growth is like self-care, mani-pedis, and bubble baths, candles around the tub. And not that the girls in the 30s don't deserve and don't do those things, because I do those too. But that was what I thought healing and growth was. This beautiful pouring into myself. What I'm recognizing now is that sometimes the ugly growth looks like moving to Thailand with no set plan. We don't have a set plan. And people ask me, and they ask Dean all the time, like, what are you guys gonna do? How long are you gonna be out there? Is this your final place living in Thailand? And we have no idea. But what we're doing, we're trusting the process. I don't know if you can see that. Trusting the process. It's still hot. Here we are in Thailand with this visa, and we are not anxious. We don't feel rushed. We don't feel like there's some deadline to figure life out. We are just present in this moment, intentionally curating every day and experiencing our 30s in peace. In my 20s, it was really pretty to grow. It was really pretty to heal. Even when it was ugly, I made it look really pretty. But in my 30s, I'm doing stuff like this. I'm jumping on YouTube to make 100 daily videos. I'm making cups of tea while I tell my business. That is what I'm doing in my 30s. I recognize now that my 20s was filled with healing based on the things that I've read and other people's healing journeys and the things that I've seen. In my 30s, I'm writing a different version of healing for myself. This doesn't feel like or look like anything that anyone else has ever done. Yet at the same time, it resonates with so many other women, especially when it comes to outgrowing things. Every time I post on Threads, every time I share something on my Instagram or my TikTok, the amount of comments, the shares, the saves, lets me know that I'm not alone in this 30-something journey. And I'm encouraged to continue to create content and to curate spaces and events for women in their 30s and their 40s who are learning and living the ugly growth era. I am committed to doing this because I understand that it can be very, very lonely, and it doesn't have to be. And that's another thing about my 20s. Healing in my 20s was very lonely. I kind of didn't want people to know what I was going through, so I didn't really talk about it. But in my 30s, this is a community elevation, okay? Not that there isn't healing that happens in solitude, but the healing that's happening in my 30s is community centered. It's, hey y'all, we're not alone, we're in this together. It gives very much so collective consciousness. You know what I mean? It's not about me, because I'm recognizing in my 30s that my healing impacts so many other people. It impacts so many other things that I am very mindful of my healing and my growth. And even with the retreat that I have coming up in Thailand, that is a community space for people to grow, to come into their own, in their 20s, in their 30s, wherever they are, but recognizing the shift that's happening within them. And then being able to come together and share that with one another. Such a powerful space to do work in. Such a courageous act of power. is putting yourself in a space far from home with other people, some familiar, some strangers, and watching the mirror of yourself in real time. Because what I know to be true in my 30s is that we're all reflections of each other. When I meet somebody that I don't like, I recognize that there is an invitation for me to explore within that experience what it is that I don't like about myself and what it is that I'm projecting onto someone else. When it comes to me forcing something, I believe that that's an invitation. Now that I'm in my 30s, I know that it's an invitation for me to find out why I'm not comfortable with the flow of things. Why am I not moving with how things should be flowing? Why am I forcing anything? And how do I stop that? I hear people say all the time, the 30s are where you don't play. The 30s where you stop caring. The 30s are where you turn up. It's the cut your hair era. When a woman changes her hair, she's about to change her life. And I feel like I hear that a lot about the 30s. For me, it's not because I don't care more. It's because I'm more intentional. It's because I care even more that I'm so mindful, that I practice self-awareness as a priority, and that I am as committed to the growth is because I care more. There are things that I stopped caring about, that's for sure. But my 30s doesn't give I care less. 30s for me gives I am more discerning. I am more clear. 30s gives clarity. That's what 30s gives clarity. Am I confused? Oh, that's good. I'm not confused. I know what I know. I like what I like. I do what I do. I am who I am. And I'm changing. And I'm changing my mind. And I'm moving across the country. And I'm not talking to people anymore. And I disconnect myself from things that don't align. And I quit jobs. My 30s, I am clear on the things that I do, that I don't do, what I say, what I don't say. I'm so clear. There's no confusion in my life. If you're watching this and you're in your 20s and you're trying to just make it through, keep going, because the 20s is about growing your self-awareness, growing how you show up in the world, seeing it differently, seeing it from other people's perspectives, learning to take constructive criticism and constructive feedback and discern what's for you and what's not. And also just remaining flexible. I feel like in my 20s, I was not that flexible. I had to be forced to be flexible. But in my 30s, I'm going with it. If it's not working out, it's not working out anymore. It doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter how many times. None of those things matter. What matters is that I'm doing what feels good to me. I'm trusting myself. I am standing 10 toes down on business. And I'm following through. That's what matters in my 30s. In yesterday's video, I spoke about trying something new, about how we as adults need to get into this childlike mindset of just doing things and trying things, not to monetize it, not to be the best, most world-class person in doing whatever it is, but just to try new things. I learned that in my 30s. I learned to try new things in my 30s. Now there's some food that I'm not trying because I know I don't like it. But outside of the food space, I'm trying whatever. I might have a new profession next month just because it feels good to do. I might go back and get a JD to match my MBA just because I might want to be a lawyer or something. I'm just trying things because, again, there's no timeline for me. There's no, oh my God, I'm in my 30s, I need to be more settled and serious. I'm pretty settled. I'm really grounded. I feel great. And I don't feel pressured to be the version of myself that I was last week, last month, or last year. And I'm really committed to calling out the things and the people that try to trap me into the timeline space, that try to hold me to the versions of myself that I once was. I'm really committed to calling them out and letting them know that I try new things and I change my mind. If you're in your 30s and you needed a reminder of what growth looks like in this era, let this video be it. Let this video be the thing that really cements for you that the 30s are the decade of clarity and discernment. The 30s are where not that you stop caring, but that you start moving with more intention, more purpose, more passion, and that you stop letting other people define who you are. That's my 30s. That's what I'm committed to for these next couple of years. And I'm really excited to see the 40s. I'm gonna be a beast in my 40s because I mean, in my 30s, I'm already doing the hard stuff, the heavy lift. I'm doing the shadow work and the light work, and I'm following the internal voice that's telling me to keep going. I want to encourage you to keep going and find what feels good in your 30s. If you are ready to stop performing for a timeline, for a life that doesn't resonate with you anymore, that doesn't feel good to you anymore, I'll see you at Glow Forward, friend. I'll see you in Thailand. I'll see you in a beautiful space with community, with safety, and with love, and we'll find peace together. That's it for day 22, friends. I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to be talking about a future-proof mindset. So stay tuned for that video. I'm going to finish my tea now. Peace.